on to our next presentation, and there's some fascinating lessons that I'm looking forward to taking from this, and it's lessons from an organisation that's located here in the city of Dubai. The title is "The Internet of Things is Upon Us." What's your stake? Okay, it asks us to think about this question. What's your stake? For example, trillions of devices and a digital nervous system. How do we manage these situations? These are some of the issues that our next speaker is going to address. And I can't think of anyone better qualified than the founder of what is a global ICT-enabled managed services solutions provider located right here in Dubai, but with very much a regional and global reach. With that, will you join me in welcoming, please, the Executive Chairman and the CEO, as well as the founder of Pacific Controls, Dilip Rahulan. Dilip, join us, please. Thank you, sir. Good to see you, Dilip. Thank you. My pleasure. Leave this here if you need it.
Your Excellencies, honored guests, it's indeed a pleasure. So, we made a commitment to sustainability to ensure that we lead the world, and this was done way back in early 2000. And facilitating this is all about what this revolution about smartness, Internet of Things, the whole culmination of the whole agenda, facilitating smart city is all about. I again recommit that Dubai has taken leadership, and one of the main things that I would like to actually highlight is the fact that facilitating that whole leadership is all about taking leadership in pushing boundaries. I actually have opportunities many times to go and present in certain forums around the world to talk about the concept of Internet of Things and how it has revolutionized the way we live on planet Earth. And every time I walk in onto the stage and I actually present, it's been a phenomenal experience because I showcase what we have done in Dubai. And when I was actually trying to put together this presentation, my biggest challenge was, what do I tell the people of Dubai, the stakeholders of Dubai, and the citizens of Dubai about what this thing's all about, because it's right here. And I still decided to take my straight path and actually unravel to you what you already don't know about how much of leadership we have taken in making Dubai the smartest city on earth. Believe me, the things I'm going to show you is never unraveled because we live in it, we engage with it, and we facilitate our day-to-day activities in that. But before that, I do have a few slides just to take you through the whole concept of what happens in this world as we speak. Every minute has been transformed into a whole concept of data aggregation, analytics, functional tools that facilitate all of us to sit in this room as we speak. And taking that whole thing from an enterprise level to look at what the basics are. There's been a lot of talk about sensors. We ourselves have now become sensors with the capabilities that have been given to us by the network. We are connected, and in terms of the whole process, it's us engaged as human beings facilitating that process to enable us to be part of this whole process of Internet of Things. It's a dynamic process. It's not something that we actually have a choice about. It's a transformation that we are involved in. You see, it's already embedded into our lifestyle, whether we like it or not. So, from a concept of everything that we do, from the time we leave our home, go to work, go engage with our social enterprise, the whole concept is we are engaged in terms of the way we are being actually tracked, managed and monitored using our own initiatives. And when it comes to connectivity, it's given. And today, without connectivity, even when you take a flight, actually expectations have reached where if you're not connected, it's not a flight that we have enjoyed. This is the whole paradigm shift that's taken place in our lifestyle. Expectations have gone up to a level where there's total, you're in real time being connected, irrespective of your geography, wherever you are, and you expect these things to be mandatory in terms of how it happens. But ultimately, it's all about us and the whole processes that we are involved in enabling life. And this has got huge implications in how things move forward. And enabling this to happen is all about Internet of Things. And today, from a device perspective, it has taken a whole spectrum of permeability. It's gone down to grassroots level. It's become ubiquitous, and it's embedded in everything that we do. Coming here, this is a whole shift in how the whole ecosystem has managed itself. The fundamental reason reason that this whole process is taking place is because we've actually got the whole concept of enablement in the cloud. Clouds become a transformation in how business is done in silos. And as we speak, we see that cloud has influenced us without our knowledge. We've been actually impacted into the whole concept. Everything from in our lifestyle is related to the cloud. We have actually had this whole paradigm shift in how we do banking. We have seen that the whole bank infrastructure has gone. All our money is facilitated through a simple card that we engage with the machine. The whole face-to-face interaction in some of our childhoods, which we had with the bank, doesn't exist anymore. So seamlessly, the whole transformation in every aspect of life, healthcare, hospitality, the whole 9 hours of governance is all impacted by the fact that it's all enabled by a network that's embedded in the cloud. And in terms of the ability for these networks to talk to each other, all these impacts relating to our transportation system, our healthcare system, our habitat, our infrastructure that we facilitate business, how we manufacture our products and solutions, when seamlessly integrated at an enterprise level, facilitating the whole concept of dashboards, enabling people to have a view into their lifestyle, into their function, into the requirements, is all about what we speak in terms of Internet of Things. And this is actually the whole ecosystem. If you look at the ecosystem, everything that we do today is connected. And predominantly, this whole concept of enabling ecosystem connectivity is brought about by verticals that have been through a transformation from e-governance all the way to smart city today. And predominantly, that whole process is about what Dubai is all about. If you look at the transition from the landscape of things, I would like to highlight some of the key projects that have facilitated this process over a period of time. And one of the projects that I would like to highlight is way back in 2003. We were involved in facilitating a whole concept of connecting 120 buildings in 100 days. And that was the whole innovation in terms of a pilot facilitating concepts for managing infrastructure. Today, we are proud to say that we are the only country in the world where every building in this country is connected to facilitate life safety. We do not know about this. In fact, you would see a press release after this event where we're talking about a whole new dimension of these connected buildings taking data to its next level. Connected buildings to a level where you're able to now have transparency right through the whole ecosystem of life safety in the whole country, integrating it with all the assets of the government, facilitating seamless interaction of data, that when there is an emergency, there is a whole event that takes place seamlessly, facilitating response in less than 2 minutes. You have seen it's inevitable that events happen, accidents happen, but predominantly when there is a system in the governance that facilitates response to such high degree of accuracy, stability, scalability, it's a whole different expectation from us as people resident in Dubai, not only to be happy, but also to be thrilled. So my perception is that these functions that actually happen today exist. We have created the expectations in terms of how this is actually happening. All of us experience the gateway to our country. It's the Dubai Airport. Dubai Airport is the world's smartest infrastructure that has ever been built to facilitate 20-30 million passengers annually. The activity that takes place, and most of you, when you are engaged with transiting to Dubai Airport or entering Dubai, have experienced the fact that in a process that you don't touch any buttons when you come out of the plane, you're seamlessly carried through a flow that facilitates you to come to immigration and go to exit, pick up your bags and leave. In fact, behind that whole scene is platforms and connectivity and devices that work seamlessly to facilitate this to happen. It's predominantly a whole new dimension how the government has built an infrastructure so smart that tomorrow our aspiration is 60 million passengers, and in future, past 2020, our aspiration is to make this a hub where we will have the new airport do 120 million passengers annually. These are huge stakes that actually facilitate this happen, and believe me, if we have done it now, I don't think there's any other place where we could actually look forward to draw this in terms of taking leadership. Here is the leadership in IoT. If you look at Dubai Port, that's fundamentally a transit point for the whole of the region. The transactions that take place from lifting a container from a ship, putting it through a hub, where actually the whole process of repacking, redistribution takes place, it's all seamlessly done. The turnaround times are less than a day. Phenomenal. This doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. It's all the deployment of technology that has taken place. And fundamentally, I think when you look at it from the RTA to the DEVA, to all these functionalities, everything is seamlessly from its own vertical perspective, integrated to a level where everything that you do, everything that you function in is seamlessly integrated. Talk about government and civil service, the police integrated to a level where you cannot believe the kind of data they do analytics to facilitate seamless, safe conduct within the country. It's phenomenal traction. So what's the next paradigm shift? Imagine a syndrome where you're able to enjoy what you already have and enjoy the whole concept where you could take all this to the next level and make it available to people, businesses, and the governance seamlessly. And that is the process that's actually taking place right now. And then subsequent to that, this whole vision of every person being able to share data, facilitating the concept of ubiquitous data transfer to make spontaneous decisions about you who now have transformed yourself into becoming an enterprise. Everything around your ecosystem, everything around your service delivery is managed by you, and in order to make sure that you're able to have that, there is already governance in place. So today we see the committee delivering the whole governance to facilitate the whole process of what data is actually available to a person who's coming as a visitor to this country, to a person who lives in this country as an expatriate, a person who's a citizen, and the government and the businesses and to its entirety. The whole vision of the government to facilitate that seamlessly is in the horizon. Within the next 12 months, you would see this transformation where all these informational data from a platform for the country would be seamlessly available for all of us to enjoy the opportunity to become an integral part of the fabric that facilitates the whole concept of living in a happy, sustainable environment. This is what Dubai is all about. And I believe that if we are able to look at from a perspective of what is being exhibited here today from various stakeholders, you would see all these things I've mentioned currently exposed to the whole environment to facilitate, to showcase to the whole world that a transformation in terms of how universal participation where people, businesses and government are ubiquitously connected to facilitate the value propositions that bring about everything related to lifestyle and everything related to the whole ecosystem of service delivery. This is a whole new approach towards how we see things happening and how we engage ourselves. This is a whole new approach how the dynamics of governance can transform with the vision that they have, the opportunities to showcase Dubai as a concept that from end to end you're able to visualize the future of mankind, facilitating everything from sustainability all the way to living experiences, enjoying the best of breed in terms of social lifestyle and components related to security, all packaged in one single format, universally available in the enterprise cloud, facilitating whole vision of a dynamic marketplace, making Dubai still the world's hub for business. My presentation highlights this whole concept in this form, that as we approach and engage, we are developing the aspirations and the dream of the leader to make this a happy country. We are all integrally part of it already. All we now need to think is take the shackles away and become an integral part of the enterprise this country offers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what we have raised. They have given me 30 minutes, but I think what I could possibly compress, I did. But I'm more than happy to take some questions to facilitate any focused answers towards what has already been delivered in the country. I'm privy to this because we've been part of it.
Well, I'm sure I've got plenty of questions, but I'm very happy to surrender those to the floor here. Here's the first question for Dilip. We do have some microphones doing the rounds here. Here's my first question for you, and this is interesting. I've been seeing it in Dubai for years, and you see the Pacific Controls posters around town, so we know you're there and doing great work, but frankly speaking, we tend not to associate Dubai with being a technological pioneer in these fields. We think of it as being a wonderful city in so many ways, but not in the way that Silicon Valley is, for example, a hotbed of entrepreneurship and technological innovation. So why are you here in Dubai? Or maybe my entire premise is wrong. Let me know your thoughts.
I always address crowd by saying that Pacific Controls happens to be in the right place at the right time. When the wind is strong, even the ducks fly. It's the government and its leader who has facilitated Pacific Controls to take leadership and literally position ourselves as a global company. I speak in forums where there are participants from the whole world, literally with our partners like Microsoft. And we have 500 people who are thought leaders in the fraternity of cloud computing. And when we speak about Dubai and what we've already done, it blows the minds of people. This is whole traction. I mean, in 2003, we connected 124 buildings for an organization today doesn't exist called the Dubai Development Board. They had an aspiration to manage these assets for the stakeholders to enable seamless interaction. And the struggle that we took to facilitate that happened. When we say every building in Dubai is connected today using a wireless cellular backbone, and for critical asset management and asset monitoring, this is a whole transformation. So we've been given the opportunity to facilitate this to happen, hence we are in Dubai.
And another question that we get, and we were talking about this on the radio this morning, and you get a lot of text messages and comments in, and I'm not going to lie, quite often they're quite cynical. And one of the SMSs we had in this morning was saying, this is just hype. There's no reality, there's no substance to the Internet of Things, it's just hype. How do you come back to that?
People have opinions, people have their perception, but in reality, if this was hype, none of you would be sitting here. Honestly, in order to facilitate you to get here, you've deployed the infrastructure. We've taken the whole data that allows you to seamlessly approach this event and be part of it. Apart from that, everything related to your lifestyle here, your whole process of healthcare, hospitality industry in the country. It's all networked, it's all connected to facilitate governance support in terms of ensuring safety, security, and happiness. So the Internet of Things is just a process. The whole transformation is lifestyle. Mankind is transforming lifestyle. Nobody can stop it. Irrespective of whatever the consequence, probably the gods can, but nobody else, because mankind is directed towards leveraging knowledge, sharing knowledge, exchanging information. This is what we're talking about, nothing else. In fundamental, we're sharing knowledge at the speed of light. That is what this whole Internet of Things is all about. But information from mundane devices like thermostat, valves, actuators, sitting in remote ceilings to facilitate comfort for people sitting in the room.
Who pays for it up front?
The concept of payment is we all pay for it, honestly. Irrespective of whether you like it or not, every time you buy a connectivity device, you pay for it. Every time you step into a transportation system, you pay for it. If you buy a home, you pay for it. So it's an integral part of life. What you pay for now in the future will be quantified. Now this is a very important feature. Traditionally, if you actually take this example of what happens in the construction industry today, you have a building, you buy it and you move it, and then you actually pay only for water and electricity. Tomorrow, within the next 6 to 12 months, the whole construction industry is going to transform because of the possibilities that exist in the connected device, connected equipment syndrome. Everything that relates to a construction today, the aspirations of two major developers in this country is I only want to build brick and mortar. I do not want to get involved in the physical sense of anything related to service. So as you walk in, you pay for water, you pay for electricity, then you pay for lighting, you pay for heating, you pay for ventilation, you pay for everything related to horizontal transportation, vertical transportation as a service. Whole transformation. So companies who manufacture equipment are actually going to have smart devices embedded in every entity where they become service providers. This transformation took place in our lifetime with water and electricity. Now the concept of customizing service to end level, light bulb. Light bulb has transformed itself. Earlier on we bought light bulb every 3 months because it blew. Today for 25 years there's a warranty that the light bulb will not go, it's made of LED. Costs $60, but company making light bulb cannot make money just by selling light bulb. At the end of the day, the whole transformation light bulb has become an occupancy sensor, it's become a thermostat, it's become a connected device. We can talk to multiple devices to facilitate lighting as a service. As you use it, you pay. If you don't use it, you don't pay.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Sheikh Abdullah, British University in Dubai. You mentioned a little bit about making the data available for the public. Can you elaborate a bit more about that?
The government is undertaking a program where they have actually invited 10 companies, global companies, to facilitate a whole new vision It's called the Dubai platform. I'm not privy to speak about it, but the Dubai platform is going to become available where people, businesses and governance will become an integral part. There's also a committee formed by the government to facilitate the whole process of enabling governance. As I said earlier, each stakeholder will have a preview of data based on a governance. First time in the world, facilitating the whole concept of using the platform end to end. Platform is just the beginning. It transforms life in every form.
Take one or two more questions. Such a high impact presentation, I'm loving it. Take one or two more, I've got a couple more. Happy to take one or two more. Here's one I have. Okay, I can see who's going to pay, we all pay, fine. How do you make this work in countries that are much poorer than the UAE? One of the richest countries in the world. Doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier. How do you apply these principles with our trading partners in the West, in parts of Africa, our trading partners in the East, in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, where GDP per capita is much, much lower?
Awesome question. You will not believe if I tell you the answer. These countries will never be poor again. The reason is the whole transformation is about people, devices, data, enabling a whole new concept of transparency. Most of these countries are poor because of various slacks in governance, capability to transform the rights to the people in a transparent and opaque manner. To facilitate transactions that will be open in form where there will be transparency end to end. This is going to transform the value of the person. The future of a platform in Dubai enables every person in Dubai to be an entrepreneur, a businessman, use APIs to facilitate transactions. So the whole form of how business is conducted today, how people collect revenue for businesses will transform completely. The whole concept of how people would give you devices, allow you to use it and only charge you to actually use as per use, they would charge you. There was no other way that this would happen. And when people become commodity in terms of being an entrepreneur, they can actually charge for themselves. The whole balance of the world economy as we see it today will transform. In fact, as we speak, we work with some major global OEMs, manufacturing equipment from chillers to air compressors to trains to forklifts. The way they transform their equipment into valuable propositions in an aftermarket value proposition is phenomenal. If there is a product that's sold and there's a profit margin to it, today that profit margin concept has slowly disappeared. The product is given as a service, and as we go along, there's various expectations from the end user. You actually deliver the end user with these expectations to facilitate seamless service delivery. The value proposition is multiplied 2-3 times. Phenomenal transformation.
Take one more question. Yes, please. Thank you, sir. The final question. Can we get a microphone to this gentleman? Lovely.
Don't you think the human element is missing in the rapid, transformation of technology? Before, when we enter a room, for example, a nice lady used to smile at you and say hi to you, and today, thumb, you are putting her and you are entering. Don't you think a difference in these two kind of procedures? Could you elaborate on this?
No, I fully agree with you, but this is a process of transformation. What you aspire to see that lady will reappear. Today they have disappeared. What is happening is that we are creating lifestyle in a manner that you can facilitate time for the person. So these opportunities that we are so bogged down looking at our emails, running after data from all aspects of life, will now eventually be available in a seamless manner where we can facilitate lifestyle in a much more sensible, much more humane manner, for which we need time. And all these functionalities, all these commitments that we make about sustainability for the world, save the world for the future, has all got to be by us involving ourselves as human beings. And that process can only happen if we are able to fully leverage the knowledge base, the communication technologies, the database, in a manner that all these analytics will be real time, and we would then have this capability to go back to the roots and look at us as people and people who love each other, and then hence happiness. Thank you very much.
Dilip, wonderful stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Thoroughly enjoyed your presentation and your questions. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.